I have often seen people who have found themselves in situations where other people or the situation itself made them so angry and uncomfortable that they have internalized it to the point where it manifests itself in a mental or physical way, literally affecting your being for the rest of your life. Something so traumatic that you cannot forget it. I will never ever discredit anybody's experiences as they go on this adventure that we call life, but I have kind of sort of put myself into a space that has allowed me to navigate this space a little bit easier. You know, when you're driving and you make a wrong turn and your GPS says to you, I'm recalculating, I have kind of sort of found methods. And this was through the help of a therapist. By the way, plug, if you need help, seek therapy. If you can't do it on your own, seek therapy. Get the therapist that works for you, whether it's religious, non-religious, somebody who could actually guide you. They don't necessarily have to see it your way, but guide you through the process. A lot of us have experiences out here that can help other people to navigate their life. You don't have to feel like you need to do it all alone. And you can also pray and seek therapy. They do not exist independent of each other. Just saying. So I have found that in recent years, I have had some really hard situations happen to me. And most people won't know, except my very, very small circle of friends who I will occasionally vent to when I want to get a little bit of the steam off. But I have also found that I recalculate to navigate the storms. It's not the easiest thing. Sometimes it's very, very difficult, especially when you think of the mental fortitude it takes to navigate that storm. But I chuck it up this way. I would rather re-navigate what is hurting than trying to spend all my emotions in the circumstance or on the person who caused the trauma. Zine, it may not work for everybody, it may work for some, so I'm going to share it. How I navigate and recalculate my life when situations get really, really upsetting, or even if it's a minor upset, even in the moment of it, is two things. I remember that life is not only fragile, but all of this is temporary. Life is not only fragile, but all of this is temporary. Let me give you an example. I work in a space where majority of my coworkers are. I can tell that a lot of them don't like me. Who is this nurse coming from the Caribbean? She can't even speak proper English. Where did you train again? How long ago was that? How many years of nursing have you done? How many hours have you worked in? Have you seen this procedure before? Questions I don't hear them ask anybody else. Or maybe they do. Who fucking cares? Right? And it's a level of condescension that if I should take personal, it would probably see me lash out. And I'm telling you, this doesn't happen one-off. I can probably have it happen to me probably 2 or 3 times a week. And a lot of the times it's not only coming from the nurses or the doctors, it's also the patients. And you feel like you're in a constant hamster wheel of having to prove yourself over and over to these people that do not test my gangster. I am her. Zine? But you know what? I have started a long time ago to live by the rules that life is fragile and all of this is temporary. I have scrub text who I know hate working with me. But I just said to myself, this is only 10 hours of my day. The next 14, I am not focusing on you because once I leave this hospital, none of this exists to me till I come back. That's temporary. I also have to understand that life is also a fragile thing. And I never want to say anything that I'm going to have to end up apologizing for. So a lot of the times, the thoughts and the emotions that everybody experiences come to my head, but I never let it out. And that may not necessarily be the best thing to do, but I also am not going to have to apologize to you. Because sometimes, to tell you the honest truth, I want to light them up with some SYM. If you know, you know. But, and then again, I'm like, for you to bring me to that bridge where I'm so angry that I'm going to tip over would mean that you are worthy of my emotions. You are not worthy of my emotions. And that's how I try to navigate this space, especially in this very kind of, unfortunate times that we're living in, especially for those of us who decided to make that life move and come to the US. It's not rainbows and butterflies. On top of the 5 months of snow and cold that leads to seasonal depression that has me chomping down vitamin D tablets to kind of stabilize the mood, working out ever so often to get my dopamine release. It is hard. But you know what? It's temporary. I don't have to stay here forever. I need to do what I need to do so I can move on to something else. Like a nomad, I don't have to stay in one place. We don't have to stay in one place. We are not trees that are planted where we need to stay stuck in any situation. if you live by the rule that all of this is temporary and life is fragile enough, you will start to take care of yourself and put yourself and those you love first. We often don't realize that sometimes life requires us to be selfish. Nature brought us about as selfish human beings. From we were parasites in our mother's wombs, we are selfish. It is nurture that teaches us to be kind. But sometimes life requires us to be selfish. And selfishness doesn't come about for you alone. It may be for you and your family, it may be for you and your kids. But sometimes you need to step away to preserve your mental well-being and your physical self. Because guess what? In the blink of an eye, you will die. And that's the fragility of life. Also, what you're holding on to so dearly can also be taken away from you as quickly as this. And that's the temporariness of life. You see what I mean? It makes sense now? So let me just say this. The only thing sure in life is death and taxes. Everything else is temporary. Everything else is fragile. I guarantee you, if you slowly start to treat life like that, you will appreciate life in a totally different way. I want y'all to try it. The next time somebody at work makes you upset to the point where you feel like this is going to be an HR situation, remind yourself, life is temporary, life is fragile. You're not worth my emotions. And see how much better it makes you. I also want to say this to you. When you do not give into the emotions of your id, which are the immediate anger or, immediate crashing out, you allow your brain time to deduce ways to either get you out of the situation or work your way through the situation. I understand the premise of fight or flight, but just hear me out. If your first thought is to not get angry or not get scared, your brain would automatically start figuring out ways to work yourself through the situation or how to immediately get you out of the situation. It's like when you're swimming. If the first thing you start doing is getting scared, you will sink. If you take a moment to say, my brain will help me to get out of this, you will find that you may actually float. You may find that you actually start doggy paddling or something to save yourself. You understand what I mean? So the next time you're in a situation and your base emotion is to get angry, just take a deep breath, just one deep breath before the anger pop out, and watch how your brain works differently. It works. I promise you it does. Anyways, I just wanted to touch base, and that's all I have to say for today. Happy Sunday, everybody. Have a good one.